Whatever I want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Hello, friends, brothers and sisters, familia, tribe. Coming to you today, Miguel and Harmony, live from Stockholm, Sweden. Coming to share with you our part 2 to yesterday's video. If you're jumping on, please leave a comment, check in, say hello. We would love to hear from you guys. So today's video is 10 tips to supporting your partner, your man, your husband, throughout your pregnancy. And this is really a beautiful topic because I feel that throughout the pregnancy a lot of energy is focused on the woman and what the woman needs during pregnancy, and your partner is holding a lot of space. And so this is a nice video for a shout out to all the partners out there who are holding space for 9 months for their pregnant woman. And I think it's special to include you guys, you know, because not only are you totally part of the birth, but you have to hold a lot of space for it. So this is our personal journey and our personal 10 tips, or 10 things, not even 10 tips, 10 things that we've realized throughout our 7-8 months together of pregnancy, of how I can show up in a way that is most supportive for Miguel so that he can show up and support me being pregnant.
I hope.
Did I miss anything?
No, that was perfect.
That was perfect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right. So I was seeing if anyone jumped on. It's like people come on, you know, but you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Because people join, they just like click open the video.
Yeah.
And it's nice when people like comment or say something.
Yeah, but they will.
Yeah, they will. Okay, so number 1 is communication. And can you tell me why communication is a supportive tip? Why is it important?
It's what we talked about, like needs, about also asking, like communicate both from both sides, me communicating what type of needs that I had during our like pregnancy, and that you also checking in, like what do you need, because many times like it is focused on the woman, is focused on like how are you doing, what do you need, how can I support, how can I help, and then we forget like that we also have needs that needs to be taken care of.
Absolutely.
So communicating from both sides about like what's the needs of the man, also to be able to like feel supported in that way.
And from my perspective, it's like communication is so important because there are a lot of things happening for us in our mind as pregnant women, as women in general, that a lot of needs that I have, a lot of things that come up for me that maybe I didn't know before. And if I don't communicate these needs or these expectations to him, their tensions can arise, you know, and tensions can arise and stay present for a very long time, maybe even throughout the entire pregnancy. Maybe I want something very simple like a hot towel and I've never asked for it. You know, so really communicating, and this is like really pushing our boundaries. Like number 1 thing, I would say the most important part of this pregnancy and our togetherness and being a team has been communication, because, you know, he has needs basically that he's going to put on the back burner so that he can serve all of my needs. And that's really his cultural programming, as well as like maybe what he feels in the relationship of like, you know, I have to continue showing up for my woman and my needs aren't as important. But that's not true, because when his needs are met, which are very easy to meet, especially when we communicate what our needs are, you know, he can show up for me tenfold, can show up for me in a way that he couldn't show up before. And so I would say that communication is seriously number 1. Anything else on communication? It's such a big topic. It could be its own video, you know. Oh, another thing is like anything that comes up that makes you angry or upset, any like low vibrations. One of the first things in our relationship together when the baby came here was like this serious realization that I was like projecting a lot of energy onto Miguel of like needing things, but not telling him what I needed. And there was this realization like, oh my gosh, my tension or my anger, frustration, or whatever came up were the seeds I was planting into the baby, into Lyra. And I didn't want to plant seeds around her father that weren't truth, that weren't true about who Miguel is. So that was like one of the first things that I realized, is that I really need to communicate my tensions, even if they're mistruths, even if they're false. It's just something that comes up for me. And a lot of times it was like programming or things that I felt that he was supposed to be providing that he didn't know. So it's like when the tensions come up, it's really important not to hold them in, because that's really the energetic food that you're eating and feeding to the baby. So communicating your tension, your expectations, and your needs, they're really all connected. One leads to the other, to the other, to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And leads us into number 2.
Yeah. So number 2 tip or the second tip for supporting your partner during pregnancy is keeping peace at home. And this is really like taking responsibility for what your needs are, for the space that needs to be held for you. I noticed in the beginning of our pregnancy that I was really like putting my needs and my fulfillment and happiness and taking time for myself, like I was really putting that in his court, like he needed to inspire me or something, and it's really important for us to like really, us as the pregnant woman holding space for our beloved partner and teammate, to like really hold the space for keeping peace, because it really does start from within us. With all of the hormone fluctuations and things that are going on, it's like we have control over a lot of the energetic exchange that's happening in the home. And it really does start with us, So keeping the peace at home is really like taking responsibility for your part, really holding space for what you need, doing your practice, getting the movement in that you need so that you can move energies, out of your body that are stagnant. It's like really just holding space for and taking care of, right? Like my part in the situation, which is vast, And what about for you?
And we were talking about it just before we came online, that also like depending on the situation, in many scenarios, both the man and the woman are out working and then both come home, and of course it's a different setting how to really set it up, the whole situation at home and how to support each other. And keeping the peace at home is it's for both partners, because many times the man comes home from work, carries his tension. Let's say the mother is at home, not going to work. The father comes home, or the parent, the partner comes home carrying tension because of traffic that he had to go through, or because of his boss or colleagues or work or whatever. So many times it is also like for the man to really keep the peace. In some cases also, like for example for us now, why this point came up is that I leave at home like for 10 hours, 10 to 11 hours sometimes to go to work, and when I come home it's very important that I don't come home to tension, that I don't come home to like an irritated home situation, because then it's like I've just been holding space out for 10 hours and then coming home and I have to deal with tension here. And of course, it doesn't mean that sometimes, emotional things can be happening in this case, Harmony, like at home. And of course, I always come home and hold space if necessary. But that we've been talking about is like when you ask me, what can I do for you? And I said, like, just help keep the peace at home. It's like when I come home, like do the work that you can do so you can show up in a loving state. So I don't.
It's really about like psychic space. Miguel and I are together 24/7, minus the time that he's away. And so we spend a lot of our psychic time together. A lot of our mental, emotional space is shared. And so if I'm carrying tensions and I don't have the intention to keep the peace at home and work with these tensions, it's not that I can't have tension. It's that I need to communicate them. I need to transmute them. I need to take responsibility for them. I really need to honor the fact that he's holding so much space. You know, for me in our situation, it's like I get a lot of time alone. I get a lot of time where I can purify and process through thoughts and really be by myself. And for him, he doesn't have the same psychic luxury. You know, he's always sharing space. He goes to work, he's sharing space with other people. He comes home, he's sharing space with me. So really, we have to hold space for that and honor that, you know, honor the fact that he's providing me something that most women don't even get the opportunity to experience, you know. So how can I support him in that? How can I inspire him to have more psychic space? And that really is not by giving him anything other than creating peace in the home because I feel good, because I'm in a good mood, because I'm in a good place. That is extremely supportive to your partner who is holding a lot of space for you.
And to reach out and communicate when there is something that needs to be shared, like, so not to carry stuff, because that's what really that's what really becomes difficult for me in this in situation, is where I feel that there is tension, but there is not communicated.
Absolutely.
And that's I've seen in so many relationships, and I have heard in so many relationships that there is this unspoken tension that doesn't get addressed.
Yeah.
And that's where like it just builds on. And I feel that's one of the most beautiful gifts that we have in our relationship, is that we talk about it. Like if we see that there is any tension that someone is carrying, it's like we look each other in the eyes. It's like we take the other person, like, hey,
how can I help you transmute this?
How are you? How are you feeling? And not like I'm fine. No, it's like, how are you? And
be authentic.
Then we fully authentic. Right now, I'm feeling, I don't know what's going on, or I'm irritated because of this and this and that. And then we talk about it always. So we clear like whatever tension arises, because it's not a bad thing that tension arises. It's not neither good or bad. It happens, but it's how we deal when it comes up. It's how authentically honest and true we can share it. Being vulnerable. It's like, yes, I am carrying tension. I am irritated because of this and that. And it's not, that doesn't make it wrong. It's just like, let's communicate it, because no one, first of all, wants to carry it, and the partner don't want to see that the partner has it without knowing and without being able to say either, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were carrying tension because this and this and that, you know.
And a lot of times, like, I feel like the tension, you know, that is created in a relationship, number one, it's cultural, right? Like, we have a lot of cultural conditioning as women that we have to take responsibility for. This is like a lot of what the like shadow feminine we can talk about, a lot of shadow feminine aspects, because the tension is almost natural for us. It's almost like ingrained and hardwired into our brain. And communication or tension really is the bridge to communication. So tension doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be bad. It could just be a thing that helps us communicate what our needs are, that maybe we didn't realize, I didn't realize I needed to communicate this, but I would really love it if you did this. And coming to each other with that tension, with compassion and just transparency and love, and being like, you know, please forgive me right off the bat. Like, start in a place of tenderness, you know, not of like, you know, pride or being like feeling like you have the upper hand, like the other person is messed up and they need to own up to what they did. No, it's like really just have to be vulnerable and realize that the other person is a human and that we don't have the same needs. And so it's extremely important for us to communicate any energies that come up, and for us to be a team, for us to play this game together that we've consciously chosen to play.
Yes, my queen.
So the next thing, the third tip that we have learned throughout our pregnancy for me supporting Miguel, is to appreciate him. And appreciation, you know, is it the 5 love languages?
Yeah.
The 5 love languages, like, you know, these next 3 are like probably his love languages, you know. So it's important as the pregnant woman to know what your partner's love languages are, because it can make all the difference in their emotional like stability and their ability to show up for you, their ability to be present and to hold space for you and to give you what you need. So it's really conducive to take care of your partner by showing appreciation. You know, it's really easy to be like, oh, well, I'm the pregnant woman, you do everything for me. I've had a lot of people say to me, are you being taken care of? You know, Miguel is a massage therapist, and he puts a lot of hours in caring for a lot of people. And what a lot of people don't realize is that when he comes home at the end of the day, the last thing he's thinking about is massaging or healing another person. And so we have to hold space for that fact, you know, and to oh shit, where was I going with that?
With appreciation.
I looked down at the paper and read appreciation and lost my story. Oh, hold on, it's coming back. So a lot of people like project like, oh, I've had multiple women say, I don't care if he's tired. He needs to show up for you and he needs to massage you. No. Number one, he doesn't need to do anything. This is a co-creation, a partnership. We're teammates. Sometimes I'm the one who needs to massage him. A lot of times we do this together. And not only are we co-creating this pregnancy, but he feels a lot of what I'm feeling. When I have like pain, when I have Braxton Hicks contractions, or when I'm feeling pain in my body, he's feeling it too. You know, so it's like, it's important not to project and expect him to be anything. And instead of expecting, I try to have appreciation for what he does do, you know. And I would say this is the number one medicine that any woman can give to any man, is having appreciation for them, thanking them for the space that they hold. Like the masculine is the space holder, you know. And so really having appreciation for them and saying thank you to all of the things that they do for us, not expecting it and projecting it and getting angry. Like that's really just really a cycle that just doesn't work, you know. And what would you say about appreciation?
I would
How
say
big is
like
it for you?
I think it's always feels good to be appreciated in whatever type of situation we are in. And I want to say about what you said about that about massaging, and I feel that even if I come home and I am tired in any ways, like I still feel it's an important thing that you to be able to give, like to love on your body. And I always told you,
well,
like
loving touch,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, and like to really, and I also told you, it's like help me to remember, you know, that because I don't know how it is to be in your body. So it's like it's important for me to that she communicates. That's like, this is how my body's feeling right now, and I would never say it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna, you know. It's like as much as I can, and I've said that even because I work as a massage therapist and healer, that I feel it's almost a little bit like messed up that I go out and do so many healings and massage sessions, and then I come home and my arms and hands are like they're hurting sometimes, and so I feel like I can't really like do that for you, and that's a tricky situation I'm in right now. But we are working with it and doing
Yeah,
this.
but my body always feels taken care of. It's like, that story wasn't to like put you on the grill. That story, like, we know we have our situation, you know, and I honor like the space that he holds. Like I don't have the expectation that he needs to be the one that always heals my body. Like we hire other massage therapists, you know, who actually specialize in pregnancy massages, you know. But really the biggest part is to have appreciation for what he is doing, you know. And you massage me all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe not like a client on a table, but that's just different, you know. So what else about appreciation?
I just wanted to appreciate Dane here also. Brother. Brother Dane that I met when I met Brother Bear at Florestal in Costa Rica.
Oh, that's beautiful. I don't think I know Dane.
For sharing.
Do I know Dane?
I don't think so. He's a beautiful
nice to meet you, Dane.
From
thank you for commenting, brother.
Montreal, I think, in Canada. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to see you again, brother. Me, him, and Bear really connected in Florestal. So when it comes to appreciation, I think that it's like it's in this video, like we're talking about the appreciation. Toronto, you're right. I was
Toronto. Okay, cool. Nice to meet you, Dane.
Glad to see you here, brother. That I think is like just showing that, because like you say, I leave from home and I go and work and I get all the things around this and that, come home with this and that, just feeling like appreciated, which is a very simple thing, but many times forgotten. many times like it's like you should be doing this, you should be doing this service because I'm carrying the child. So it's like really appreciating. Thank you for your gifts, thank you for your time, thank you for your blessings. It's like just that thank you makes me want to go out again and do the same old thing all over.
Absolutely.
You know.
And you know, I feel like this like hands on the hips, like kind of like you should be doing this, is totally the female relationship to the ego. That is all ego, sisters. Like there are women all over the planet who don't even have a partner to support them, who are going to work 2 jobs so that they can support the baby on the way. Like, you know, it's really important to have appreciation and gratitude for what you have. And there are many stories that are affecting that. So you really have to just be careful around like what's putting your hands on your hips. Like what's your ego saying about your partner, and really check that, because that will get you into a lot of trouble. And not only get you into trouble, but it will cut off love. It will cut off the energy that you're actually wanting. It's like a lot of times we do things because a part personality comes in and is like, well, he should be doing this. Like, okay, yes, in some story that you've made up, yes, he should be doing this, but it's important to realize that the only reason you're upset is because you're not being provided for. And there's no reason to point fingers or to get angry at someone. There's actually a higher, more evolved way of approaching it that will actually get you faster what you're looking for than cut you off from your partner, right? Right.
And it comes, this is like almost merging together with our point number 4, which is physical touch, which is part also the appreciation. Like you say, when I come home from work and I've been out either working nighttime or working, giving sessions, I come home and you put your hands on my body and how you're feeling and giving some good, sweet body, like love and massage. And that's like, does so much, you know, it's like, it really feels good, especially since like in my head it's like I should come home and rub on your body, which is also true, but it's so beautiful that we can actually give that service to each other, that is not one way right now, that is only because you are carrying the baby and doing that beautiful service for our family, but you're also at the same time giving me love. You know, it's like not only keeping it for your own body, but you're also extending that to me when I come home. And that's really something that really makes me feel so much more like to just more loved and appreciated, and at the same time wanting to give even more. So it's like that's a beautiful thing, because I know that sometimes it's missed. It's like many women forget that. It's like now it's just about my body.
Or just about the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think for physical touch, for me throughout the pregnancy and providing it for Miguel, it's like there's an energetic exchange happening all of the time. And right now I'm carrying half of him. You know, there's a child inside of me that's growing that is him. And so this physical touch for me is more energetic, is more like, you know, the baby's giving me all this energy, all of this fuel, all these experiences, and something that Miguel will never experience. You know, and so for me to be present and to like put my hands on him and to love on him and to give him that affection, it's not just me. It's not just my energy, it's the baby's energy too. You know, and there's a connection happening with both parents and the child, especially because we're together all of the time. The child knows my voice just as much as it knows, or Miguel's voice just as much as it knows mine. You know, and so really like showing up and just being there for Miguel is supportive for the baby in a way. I don't know if I can really explain it any differently, but physical touch is medicine. It's medicine for me. It was medicine for me before I got pregnant. It's medicine for me now. And I want to show Miguel the same courtesies of his hands always being on me and healing me. Really hold that space for him and the space that he's holding. Like a shoulder rub is nothing. And I think that it's really important to mention that it's very easy as a pregnant woman to get lost in pregnancy land, to get lost in the fact that this is all about me, mine, me. And so for me, touching Miguel, cuddling, you know, just like finding him and wrapping into him, it's like it keeps our connection solid. It keeps us healthy. You know, it's like these are the last 9 months of our freedom, like of our togetherness as 2, because soon we will be 3. And so it's like this is the last 9 months of that ever being true, because then we might have other kids, or it's like we're always going to have children around. So I want to appreciate him in every way that I can these last 9 months. And I know that last 9 months, that sounds like a little like terminal, and it's not. But it changes. The reality is that it will be different. So physical touch is a great way to exchange that love with no words, just like showing up for your partner.
Yeah. Just want to say thank you, Michelle. Hello.
This is my sister from Canada.
She's sending love and blessings.
This is Costa Rica, Michelle.
Yeah.
She comes on to every video. I love you, Michelle.
We have two from Costa Rica that we have met in Costa Rica.
Yeah. Costa Rica is where Miguel and I, that is beautiful. Yeah. You guys should say hello to each other, both from Canada. That's kind of cool. Miguel and I met in Costa Rica, and our story starts there, and the springboard of our relationship comes from there. It's like we were just talking about Envision Festival today. It's like everything was born, like the whole rest of my life was born in Costa Rica, so it's just like such a special place for us. And a lot of people that we met during that time are our strong tribe now. So sending a shout out to all of our Costa Rica tribe. Loving you, Michelle. She's talking about how she had a dream that she was also pregnant and was in Stockholm.
What?
Yeah. So anyways, the next tip or thing that we have discovered towards me as a pregnant woman supporting my beloved during the pregnancy is acts of service. These all really tie in together. It's really about getting off that ego trip of like, I'm the one that's pregnant and need to be provided for. That's true. Yes, you do. But you also need to hold space for your partner who is holding a lot of space for you. And acts of service is another love language. And this can really be anything, and it's important to ask your partner what acts of service look like to him, because it looks different for every person. And because every situation is different, acts of service on this day will look different than they look tomorrow. So really just holding that energetic, like, opportunity of serving your partner, of being in service to him, of being in service to each other is really sweet. So in our situation, me cooking is such a joy, number one, for both of us. I love to cook and he loves to eat. He loves to cook and I love to eat. So the act of service of cooking is really for both of us. When he cooks for me, I get just as excited as when I cook for him, and because his schedule is so full and he's keeping everything together in that way, providing him with that is the least that I can do. And another thing is like cleaning the house. And I know these are like typical like housewife stuff, which, by the way, I'm loving right now. I'm eating it all up because, I was very culturally conditioned to be, balanced. I'm bringing home the money and I'm being the housewife, like equal roles, but right now the situation that we're in is so beautiful that I can be home and be in my own space, and he's providing for our family that's coming. And so cooking and cleaning and physical touch and communicating, these are all acts of service, ways that I can show up energetically to support him so that he can continue supporting me. What about you on acts of service? Did I get it all?
Yeah, you did. And yeah, you covered it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the next tip that we have for holding space, for supporting your partner during your pregnancy is by holding space for them. Now, holding space is like, this is all the same thing. I feel like this is all the same topic. We have like acknowledging his needs, asking questions, helping him transmute energies, and checking your expectations. I think I'm going to let you talk about this one. Like, why is it important for me to hold space for you?
I think it is what we were talking about is holding space for yourself, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Both.
Mainly, or does it come together with the self-care there? I think it was.
This is about you, baby.
Yeah, it ties. It's about me.
Yeah, it's about you.
I think it ties into everything that we've been talking about so far when it comes to like us both being space holders in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that right now, like I am holding a lot of space for us and for you when I come home, and that that you are also, like we talked about, that what makes it work for us is that you're also holding space for me. It's like you also, when I come home, you check in with me. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What do you need? And communicating is like, what expectations do you have of this? Like
The consideration.
yeah, like that that in a world right now is not only you and the baby, but also me. And so you hold space for me, so I can also, if I come home from work and I feel like having uh, just feeling something, because I both work with healing people, but also work with homeless and addicts. It's like I'm around of different type of experiences that sometimes I come home and I need to like transmute it. And holding space for me can many times just be, baby, do you want to go and take a shower? Or do you want to go and go for a walk in the forest by yourself? It's like, what do you need? It's like holding space for me.
Asking the question.
And listening to me, like sit and give your time and your energy through just listening to what I need to transmute sometimes.
Absolutely. And a lot of ways that I hold space for Miguel, and that many partners hold space for each other, is reminding him. Like, his psychic space is taken up by so many different things. He's really holding a lot of space in a lot of different areas. So it's like, even just reminding him to take a vitamin, or, asking him questions about his emotional, mental well-being, reminding him that he should go walk in the forest. It's like holding space for his needs, not neglecting the fact that he's also a being dealing with all his own energies and going through the same transition as I am as a pregnant woman. Like I said, because he's a healer, he's feeling me. He's feeling me immediately when he walks in the door, where I am, what's my psychic space, what's my energetic place. And I try to really hold space in the sense of being in a good place when he gets home. And if I'm not in a good place, well, then saying that right off the bat, like, I'm not in a good place right now to hold space for you. I need to hold space for myself right now. And in that case, you will reflect me and say, what do you need? So all of these tips, it's an infinite bond that Miguel and I are creating, especially bringing a child into this world. Is like, how can we hold space for each other? How can we show up for one another? And it's really important. It's really important to me. It's really important to him. And it's really taken our experience together to the next level. I mean, we have gotten closer in this pregnancy than I think we ever would have gotten if I hadn't gotten pregnant. I mean, we even say sometimes that we might not even be together if we hadn't gotten pregnant, because we've processed that many stories, and we've processed a lot of energies. I have cried, he has cried. It's like we have held a lot of space for each other, and Lyra, the baby, has really been a major component in that, holding space for each other and learning how to get along, learning how to hold space for each other. It's been a beautiful journey of ups and downs, and so these tips can really help get straight to the point of, like, all I need is love. All I need is to be supported. And that's truth for both of us, and so how can I do that? How can I love you? How can I support you? How can I hold space for you? These are important questions to ask if you want your relationship to sustain in a high vibratory place. If you don't, a lot of our friends, they have their child and then they're feeling a lot of pain. Once the baby's born, it's a little bittersweet, because now not only have you neglected your partner or the person who's holding space for you the entire pregnancy, because you've been very inward, very focused on the self. Not only that, but then when the baby's born, you go through another 9 months of pure focus on the child and pure focus on the baby's needs. So it's just extremely important to really communicate. That's just number one, is to really communicate your needs and what you need, and how your partner can hold space for you.
Yeah, and I feel it's really interesting talking about this, because I feel my own even if we did a video yesterday about how to hold space for you in this situation, like how to hold space for the woman, now we're talking about how to hold space for the man. It's challenging. It's like challenging. Why? Talking about, because I think it's either it's personal or it's cultural, like conditioning.
Yeah.
About that the man's needs and how to hold space for him is not as important
Mm-hmm.
as it is for a woman. It's like talking about what do you need. Now we're just talking about me in this situation or the man. It's like, it feels like
Yeah. Is it
challenge,
okay? Is it okay to
right?
be the one who's being focused
Yeah,
on?
it's like
Yeah.
it comes up in me all the time. Yeah, but yesterday we talked about you know, because it's just feel like it's a condition I have to work with. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good that you have me.
Yeah.
Because I really feel, you know, being a Libra, it's like being in balance and co-creating life together is so important to me, and breaking all the binary expectations and the cultural projections that we have. It's like so many things that we're doing in this journey of becoming pregnant is not working, you know, and it's not working because both parties are confused. You know, so it's like really showing up for each other and seeing each other as equals is so important, you know. So it's like you are collectively transmuting the energy for all the men on the planet who've been in relationships with partners who are pregnant, who haven't been appreciated, who haven't been loved, who haven't had space held for them. It's like this is a big topic because our men really need things during pregnancy, and if we can acknowledge it, we can support each other, and our journey through pregnancy doesn't have to be like, you know, a year later we're not together anymore. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something different if we're consciously choosing, consciously communicating what we need, both parties. So the next tip that we have, number 8, is inclusion. It's really including your partner in the pregnancy. You know, for me, this is a very internal experience. And when I try to communicate it externally, there's some things that I miss, and there's some things I can't explain. But it's good to try. Including your partner in the pregnancy, let them feel the feet. Share with them what you're learning. Share with them your dreams, what you're experiencing. Teach him what you're learning. You know, there's so much opening for a woman's psychic space of like what's coming through and what she's learning during the pregnancy. The baby is actually teaching me so much, you know, but the baby isn't teaching him anything. It's not the same connection. So really including him on what you're learning, what you're experiencing, what you're going through, really sharing your position and like what you're going through. Do you feel like that's made a big difference for you? Like me sharing my experience?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like you said, that since the baby is growing inside your belly, and it's like you're having this internal relationship, and for me, it's mainly just seeing the belly getting bigger and seeing how you are affected by the different energies, and that's like, and mainly, of course, then I can psychically try to tap into things and have a certain relationship, but it's very internal what is going on within you, and you sharing with me a lot has really helped to feel more connected to it.
That's beautiful. Thank you. So the other thing that we have here for inclusion is like sharing your experience without complaining. You know, it's like a pregnant woman goes through so many changes, and there are a lot of changes that don't feel good, that are not easy to deal with. And it doesn't really, if you need to share something, if you need to get something off your chest, I've cried on him many times, all throughout all of the nausea and almost throwing up on the metro, and just like all of these times of intensity of like, I am not feeling well, like my body is not responding well to this moment. It's like, it's important to be able to share with your partner, but to not always be complaining. You know, it's like it's easy, I feel, when you're in this position of not feeling well, to get into the habit of complaining all the time and saying the same thing. I'm not feeling well. We got to the point during 7 months of morning sickness that, you know, I would start saying mild, medium, and extreme, intense, or extreme. You know, I wouldn't say I'm nauseous, because everybody knows I'm nauseous. There's no confusion there. Everybody knows if I don't look well, it's because I'm nauseous. You know, so the fact that, and we were living in community space too. It's like, you know, how are you? Mild, medium, extreme. I need to lay down. You know, so it's like really holding space for the fact that people are helping you transmute the energies that you're going through. And if they're not helping you transmute them, they're definitely affected by them. So just having that energetic awareness of not complaining all of the time. And also having self-love, having enough love for yourself that you are sharing. If I need to express something, I do so unapologetically. I cry, he cries, we process it, we transmute it, and then we're back into our happy place of peace. You know, so I feel like that's a big one.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for including him, but realizing that he is included. And it's really important where you are psychically and what your habits are and how they affect your partner. Anything else?
No, I think you said it very well. What comes to me when we're talking about this is like that before, not now, but before, I had the feeling that you were like, when we were especially living in a community setting, that you were showing up for all other people, like, hey, you hold space for people, right? And showing up and being happy and energetically, and then you felt like, oh, this, like, okay, that's enough. And then when you came to me and were like,
didn't hold space for you that way.
Exactly. So it's like, when you were around me, it was mainly like, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, and that, which
it was more authentic.
Yeah, which I was gladly to hold that space for you.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was missing the times when you were like energetically, like, and I think that's when it comes to this one, and really like sharing without complaint, it's not complaining. It's like, you're more than welcome anytime that you need to share something that is going wherever you are, but also, not, like you said, be mindful of not only doing that, also show up as the sun, you know, also show up and light and shine your love and your good energy, so I also can receive that, not only like the other side. So it becomes more balanced.
Absolutely. Well said, my love.
Thank you.
And so we have 2 more tips for showing up for your partner while you're pregnant and how to support him or her. And number 9 is to encourage outside support. Now, Miguel is very special in the sense that the brotherhood is very close to his heart. He needs his brothers. It's really, really a requirement for his like psychic, emotional, mental well-being. You know, so really he's held space in this sense. That he needs that, you know, and so this one was really like to encourage it, you know, because a lot of my cultural conditioning is like, you know, I do want his focus always on me. So, you know, you want to go and spend time with your friends, and it's like I get a little like egoic, I get a little like self-centered or a little like triggered for some reason. And so it's really important for me to learn that I have to encourage him to be in his friend's space because it's medicine for him. So, and I feel like a lot of sisters have partners who don't really have good friends, who don't have like solid brothers that they can plug into. And it doesn't mean they don't need it. It just means that they don't have that avenue of expression. And once you have it, it's really a challenge to not have it like present in your life. So for me to support him in plugging into his brothers, to, you know, have a phone call with Jonah, like go plug into your brothers, go walk in the forest alone, take your space, have your time, to really hold space for the fact that he does need to have his times in life where he's not constantly focused on our family, you know, and to have that support really supports him. It really brings out the light and the love in him and his ability to show up for me. So it's really productive for both of us that I hold that space for you.
Yeah. And I think especially in our situation, because we have been traveling most of the pregnancy together, so it's like it's been mainly you and me, and me not having my brothers around, and noticing that like I have the necessity to also be associated and go and spend time with either brothers or one brother, just to be able to rest in that energy and to find more of my center, because me being together with you in this scenario is not even you asking me to hold space. It's innate within me to wanting to do that, to put my focus and concentration on you, and our energies playing together sometimes can make me like feel that almost lose my center and my balance. And the same thing with you. We have seen also before, we talked about it before. And so in our relationship and the situation has been mainly me not doing that. So you have you have encouraged me because you seen I need it. You have encouraged me to, Miguel, go and spend time with a brother. Go and spend time with this brother circle, men's circle that you have. It's like, go and do that because I see you need it, because you're not taking it.
And one of the things that Miguel has shared with me throughout the pregnancy is like, when his focus is constantly on me or always in my presence, I'm very feminine. You know, I've been many masculine attributes, but I'm very feminine. And so he starts to feel like his own masculinity starts to kind of like fade away. And he's like searching for like, wait a minute, like, who am I? You know, his groundedness in that sense is really important. He plugs into his brothers and he gets this like energetic exchange of masculine energy, of like brotherly tribe energy, which is important for him so that he can be a space holder for me. You know, do you remember talking about that so many times? Right? It's so apparent once you have all of the aspects, that it's really important for our brothers to be connecting into each other and for our sisters to be connecting in too. He can't support me the same way my mother can or the same way that my sisters can. So it's really important for not always be plugged into each other, but also to plug into tribe and to get support externally and to encourage one another to get support externally.
Exactly, because it's like, which reflections do you have around you 24/7? If you only have the feminine energy reflecting you back all the time, it's like, it's almost not that you forget what it means to be to be the divine masculine, but it's like, it's not only mental but energetically. It's like that it's just a different energy that you need to balance it with. Especially for a man like me, who I feel that have both energies very present within me, both the masculine and the feminine energy expressing itself, because I've grown up with sisters and mom, not having like brothers or father around, and especially like the last, having like sisters my whole life growing up, and now spending my time with my divine partner 24/7 has been really important for me to really plug into the masculine energy, just to balance myself up. And I've seen that many brothers, especially traveling, don't have always that. It's like we lack that grounded, stable, present, centered example where we also just can rest and be, when we actually don't need the whole space.
Give thanks.
Give thanks.
All right, the last tip that we have for supporting your partner during your pregnancy is to exercise together. You know, there's a lot of focus on like mental well-being and processing energies, and a really fun and necessary, very necessary thing for the pregnant woman, but a very fun thing to do together is exercise. You know, it's multidimensional. You know, you're supporting your partner who needs to get strong. You're doing something together which builds emotional camaraderie and connection, and also blows off steam. It makes things fun and silly and sweet all at the same time. So our last tip is to exercise together. And what do you think exercising, like, how has that affected you, us exercising together?
That's a very good question.
You can take a moment and think about it.
I feel for me has been feeling like I don't even know.
So maybe it's mostly for me. Well, to be honest, like Miguel and I have been doing our practice a lot lately on our own. We haven't exercised together much. But at the beginning of the pregnancy, us exercising together was really one of the only times that, not only times, but because I was always nauseous, it was a way for us to really boost the endorphins in our relationship. You know, it's like when I was constantly kind of feeling ill and just not well, it was like a way for us to do something together to like really make things lighter and happier and more supportive. So I would say then is a little different than now. Now we're doing our own practice and we're not exercising together, but it did do a lot to transform the first half of the pregnancy.
Yeah, that's where
it is.
Exactly. It's about also us doing like being active together.
Yeah.
You know, that me not only leaving, going by myself, even if it's nice, also go and do my own stuff and you doing your own stuff, but really like still be able to plug into each other during, like, be able to go and exercise together to help each other be in a good energetic state. You know, forget the camera all the time when you lose myself in your eyes. So, yeah.
All right, friends. Well, thank you to everyone who commented and chipped in. If you're watching this video after we're live, please send a comment or let us know what your tips are for supporting your partner. We have a lot of brothers out there who have supported their beautiful partners through pregnancy. So maybe you have some tips or recommendations that people can plug into after this live video. Please leave behind any comments or thoughts.
Or experiences.
Yeah, or experiences. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, good work. Thank you so much for tuning in to our stories, where we are. And last person coming in there just before we're leaving, our sister Alexandra. We're just finishing our video. We love you a lot. So you can watch this video because we are turning this one off right now. Blessings.
Blessings.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.